Okay, hello. I'm doing a special topic video. It is about the coronavirus. If you watch the news at all, whether it's online news or on the public broadcasting television, you may have heard about this coronavirus. You may have gotten worked up in a tizzy, wondering if you will survive the next couple days, weeks, months, or years. Okay? You may take it in such strong consideration you're not sure if you should move or prepare yourself for some great tribulation type of event. Okay? So here I'm asking questions for fun to try to figure out, should you be worried, should you not be worried? But you cannot take this as any type of medical advice. You cannot be a hater and offend me because I'm not trying to offend you. So anybody who got offended from any previous videos and tried to hate on me or hurt me in some way, that is not fair. Okay, so anyway, my point is I'm just trying to bring up a topic. Feel free to comment in the comments below, okay? Okay, so one of the first questions that I asked about was I was asking what is the outcome of this virus? Because it's kind of like when you watch a movie. Sometimes you watch a scary movie and it gets you all worked up and you're like on the edge of your seat, right? And then it's like you're in panic mode, right? So when you watch the news, you can be pushed into panic mode, whether it's necessary or not, right? So because I was listening to the news, I went ahead and listened to it just to be aware of what's going on. But then I kind of felt led 2 times to do some type of tarot reading on it to kind of bring up the subject, okay? So the question that I asked was, what is the outcome of this coronavirus? Like if people put you in a panic mode and you're like, oh my gosh, something so dangerous is going on. Oh my, it's like you're panicking for your life. You're like, what should I do? What should I do? And you're like in panic mode, right? Okay, so what is the outcome of this coronavirus? Should everybody be in panic mode? Yes or no? Okay. So I got the 7 of Michael. I got a couple more cards, but it almost seems confusing if it's related to my personal energy or not. So from this deck, I had to put up the other cards because I kept pulling cards that seemed personal. So this 7 of Michael here is in the reverse. It's explaining to us that there's a better course of action available to you. Working alone may not be the best answer. Review all the details, okay? So because it's in the reverse, I have to kind of flip the words. So what is the outcome of this coronavirus? It's saying there is not a better course of action available to you. Working alone may be the answer. And I guess you're not supposed to review all the details. Okay, so that's strange. Let me see if I can translate it into human language, regular language. Okay, so I asked, what is the outcome of this coronavirus? So it's saying there's not a better course of action. That's really weird. So maybe I should have put this card back too, because for some reason this deck of cards didn't speak to the issue. I have a couple other cards. So like I said, this is kind of for fun, so don't take it lightly, seriously. Wait, Mercury retrograde moment. Don't take it too seriously, okay? So it's saying, I don't know. What I got, my intuitive messages as I was trying to research this out, right? Has to do with like, okay, judgment of God comes in different ways. Do I think this is a judgment from God? Maybe not really. I don't want to let your guard down for you. I think the choices that we make do impact our lives, our health, our cities, our land, all of that, right? But I do think sometimes when something new comes about, people get scared because they don't know how to respond, okay? So, what do I think about this? Is this talking about the medical side? By the way, this is not about the medical aspects either. These are just questions for fun, just to bring up the topic, just so you can comment and say how you feel, okay? So, is there a better course of action? No, there's not a better course of action. I might have to put this card down because it might not be giving us the right answer. But what I'm saying is, as I was doing this, because I had to put this whole deck of cards down, which is weird. Because it seemed like this was speaking to my personal life. I'm not really sure. But I'm going to put this card down because it may not make sense. I don't know why I held it. The reason why I held it, it came out in the reverse 2 times when I asked questions. So that's why I held it, okay? So I don't know how this is relevant. I'm going to go through the other cards and come back to it. because right now it's not making sense. What do I think so far? Which, like by the way, this is just for fun, okay? What do I think so far? So far, a lot of times when the flu viruses come in, or flu-like type viruses come in, they kind of affect the people who already had issues already. So, you know, as far as should you panic or should you not panic in that regard, maybe not so much. But if you let your guard down, then you might be a little bit foolish. So what do I think? Maybe perhaps wash your hands, eat healthy foods. If you're vigilant even against the flu or the cold or whatever the case may be, if you take some vitamin C or echinacea, or just eat healthy in general, you know, that's probably a good thing. Like, you know, like regular precautions. And if you are majorly scared, like, prayer is always helpful, because your spirit guides, your angels, God, whomever you pray to, and may be looking out for you when you pray, you know, especially if you've been in line with what he asked you to do, like, you know. So let me see. So one more thing, if I reference Revelation a little bit, it explains to us that some of the plagues and the trials and the tribulations that come upon the people in the latter days is because God just wants people to repent. How major is this issue? There's another important issue I might bring up, but I might not, because it might be controversial. But like a lot of times, maybe when I'm doing these type of readings, I just want you to kind of reflect on yourself. It's basically that I'm telling you what the cards are saying without even using the cards. Like, this issue may have to do with just living a good life, being a good person, repenting if you know you are sinning, you know, just being a good, healthy person, and then believing and trusting in God and having faith that he's going to protect you, okay? There's another issue I might bring up. It's probably important, but it might be controversial. So I may bring it up and I may not, okay? So the first card that I got that may be more relevant is growth. So this is growth in the reverse. This card means to stay stuck in your normal, because growth means to grow. But when it's in the reverse, it's saying, well, you don't have to change. It's saying that whatever you're doing, continue to do this. Say, for instance, back in a couple years ago, I don't know how many years ago, avian flu was a scare or a rage, and people got all worked up and worried that everybody was going to, you know, have issues. But basically, this is saying continue to do whatever you're doing, okay? Does that mean not to pay attention and not to wash your hands? No. Does that mean to eat badly and then be unhealthy because you ate badly? No. You still have to live your life. You still have to take care of yourself, okay? So a lot of this is common sense. Oh, wow. I just noticed a card was stuck on another card. Okay, so that's interesting. So focus. Why is it telling us to focus? I feel like I'm telling you this whole reading without using the cards. It has to do with like the greater good for yourself. The greater good for yourself is to live a good life, eat healthy food, wash your hands. Maybe don't hang out in places that may have a lot of germs. You know, I mean, cover your mouth when you sneeze. You know, different things, like just kind of common sense things. This does not mean this will eliminate your concern for whatever is going on. It just means use your common sense, you know, first and foremost. Whatever things you cannot see that may be affecting you, maybe your prayer may help to, you know, remove that danger, okay? There, like I said, this is for fun, so there's a chance that there is a great concern. And if there is, like I said, this is just for fun to explore the topic. The topic could be, is hand washing important? You know, the topic could be, is eating healthy food important for your health and well-being, you know? So I'm just exploring with you some, you know, relevant things for you to live your life, okay? So the self-reflection card is kind of about, like looking within yourself. If you look within yourself and you know your body is unhealthy and you may be susceptible to being ill, what should you do? As I stated already, you should eat healthy food. Learn how to build your health through the things that you eat. I'm going to stop with that card there. I wasn't sure what that card meant 100%. Just to clarify it, I got the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is about like being wounded from some other issue, some other previous issue. So what it's trying to explain is if you have some type of health concern already, that means you need to deal with that health concern. So if you do come across a dangerous flu virus, that you will have at least gave yourself, you know, a head start in fighting it off, okay? Okay, so the next card is change, and I keep getting the vibe of don't change who you are, don't panic, don't worry, but also don't lose your common sense. So this change card is in the reverse. And what does that mean? It means that things may not change. Like as far as, I don't know how to explain it. There's some things, like when it comes to your life expectancy, there are some things, even when your enemies try to fight against you, there's some things that can't change because it's predestined, okay? Some of the things that are going on around you may be already predestined. If people fall to the left of you, if people fall to the right of you, but you're still standing, that might have been predestined, okay? So, do I want you to rely on your predestined immortality? No, I want you to use common sense. You know, do things to keep yourself healthy, pray, live a good life, be good, okay? So, but as far as panicking, should you panic? I'm not going to answer that question. Okay, so the next card is balance. So the balance card, I just keep getting the same vibe of life continues to go on. Some things are going to happen. Some things were pre-planned to happen. So even if I don't tell you what I think about this issue, on a deeper scale, what do I think about this issue? If I don't tell you, like I said, some of this stuff is predestined to, I'm not going to say predestined. Some people already made their choices of what they're going to do and how whatever they do is going to affect their health and well-being. So as far as balance, should you be worried about this issue? I think I had asked a different card. See, Mercury retrograde. I asked a different question. I kind of got a little bit spiritual about it, so this may be a health issue, but I was kind of asking, like, are the righteous people going to be protected? What if this was a form of judgment or something? Are the righteous people going to be protected? And I brought up something else. It is going to come up. I'm going to bring it up now. So this Ancestors card, it was talking about, it's in the reverse. The Ancestors card explains to you something about your lineage, okay? There's something about your lineage in regard to your blood, okay? Your DNA and your blood are relevant to who you are. When you have children, you pass on that DNA, and it's like the ancestral lineage, the calling on your life that's coming from your ancestors, that type of stuff. If that is important to you, it may be somewhat relevant to this issue, and I may not bring up the reason why. But blood, I don't know how much I want to talk about this. But, so I'm trying not to, like, bring up touchy subjects or whatever. What do I think about blood? What I think about blood is that the Bible kind of tells us not to deal with the blood in a certain way. Like, I don't know if I want to tell you guys this, but the way that I feel about blood and blood transfusions is that I believe that the life is in the blood, and I believe that your blood that you are born with is rather important to you. It makes you who you are. So I'm kind of touchy about that. That's just my personal belief system. And so we are living in a society where, like, a lot of the things that maybe traditional people may think may be challenged by the medical community or something to that effect. I think this does play into this issue. I think it does, but that's my opinion. That's not scientific. Okay? My opinion is that there may be something relevant about the blood in regard to this issue. And it's not that there's something wrong with your blood that you are born with. There may be some hidden motives behind some of the things that have been going on in the medical community. And, like, I'm not trying to bring up stuff and make people upset with anybody else, but just to me, it's a touchy topic, so I don't really want to talk about it. But it came up in the reading anyway, so I just brought it up just in case it's relevant. If you're in the medical field and you want to do a video and explain away a little bit more about blood and blood transfusions and how that may be relevant to this issue, go right ahead, but I'm not going to really go into it. So anyway, I'm going to go to the next topic. Like, my basic issue here is to kind of maybe calm down people's fears, because if you are afraid, your immune system may not be working effectively. If you already have pre-existing conditions, you don't really want to get worked up. You want to live healthy. You want to be prayed up. You want to live a good life. Some people see life as you only have so many days to live, so you might as well live it up. Some people see life like that. But in situations like this, if this is a major issue and a major health concern on a global scale, you know, I see it in a different way. I see a lot of things in a different way than other people. So I see it as live healthy, make good choices, repent if you need to repent, you know, and then give thanks that you have another day to live your life, okay? And eat well. So it's almost like I could stop the reading like here, because I basically talked it instead of said it with the cards, but I'll just keep going. So what I just said could have been wisdom. You know, use your life's wisdom. How many times have people been scared about a health concern or issue? Like I said, sometimes even when it comes to the regular flu, some people are already balancing out some other issues in their life health-wise, and so a new issue just knocks them down, you know? So use your wisdom and consider how many times a health scare has come up. You got panicky. Being panicky is not going to help your immune system to be you know, working effectively. So just don't over panic. You know, take precautions. Do your research on what you need to do. Do your research on what you can eat. I think I said vitamin C and echinacea might be helpful, just to keep your immune system up, like if you start catching a cold. So anyway, do your research. I'm just doing this as fun. This is like a fun tarot reading. It's not really fun. You know what I'm talking about. It's a discussion. It's not something for you to base your life decisions on, okay? So anyway, the protection card is the next card. This card, I already mentioned this already, like underlying health conditions may be, you know, it may be the trigger point to cause problems for some people. So if you know you have an underlying health condition, maybe like do things to stay healthy. If you know you have an underlying health condition, maybe avoid places where you may pick up germs. Like, I don't know if you can avoid, it sounds kind of contradictory. Because like if you avoided the hospital but you already had an underlying health condition, you're already predisposed to be at the hospital. So that's kind of like a catch-22. So I'm just advocating common sense, and you know, hopefully all is well. I'm going to keep going with the cards. Consider this just a random discussion, okay? And like I said, leave comments if you'd like. Dawn is the next card, and it's about new beginnings. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but it almost feels like a lot of things have been shifting and changing. Some of these things that have been shifting and changing are due to the fact that Uranus was affecting us astrologically, and I think Uranus is the planet of change. I'm not into astrology, so you'd have to go look this up. I'm just randomly talking. But so anyway, Dawn, new beginnings. The question that I asked here was, I was kind of for some reason the thought of blood had come to my mind when I was asking questions. So I was asking about blood. How is blood or blood transfusions related to this coronavirus? It's just something that came to my mind. So anyway, I'm not in the medical field, so again, do your own research and figure this out on your own. This is just ideas for you to comment on. So Dawn, new beginning. This is about, now see, I don't know, taking risk. I don't know if I agree with the definition of the card and why it came out. It's saying like for some reason the old rules have changed and there's a new beginning. And so I don't really understand it. I kind of know from a biblical standpoint, God says that he will write his ways on the tablets of our heart. I don't know how this is related to blood, but it seems like a lot of my strongly held religious beliefs, the modern day actions and things that are being pushed kind of go against it. This has to do with maybe some type of new beginning. I don't know how much I support it, but like I said, this is just random talking. So I don't know if some new system is being implemented or something. I don't know why this card, it's kind of like something old has passed away and then something new. This is in regard to blood, because I was asking about is blood or blood transfusions related to this coronavirus. And like I said, this might be touchy, so don't get mad with me. You can comment or not comment, but it just came to my mind as I was searching out this topic. So I don't know what to say about it. Research it if you would like to, or ask more questions, okay? So the next card is River, and it's about movement. So it's kind of saying like trust your own intuition, kind of go with the flow. And like I said, don't forget your common sense. If you know that there's a health pandemic, use sensible, logic in the decisions that you make. So if you knew on a random day, your kids were playing with other kids and they had a cold or something like that, you might either tell your kids, well, don't play with them today, they don't feel good, or at least give your kids a vitamin C before they go play, because maybe they didn't have a choice and it was school or something like that. I don't know. So this is about just trusting your intuition. Like I said probably everything already, so I'm just repeating myself. So that's kind of about trusting your intuition. I already brought up this Ancestors card about the blood from your ancestors, the lineage that you're carrying is important. And let me see, let me continue. So the last card for this reading is Whale in the Reverse. It's about breath. Did I say breath or breach? No, it says breach. So it says breach on the card, but I thought it said breathe. Okay, so anyway, let me see. What does this mean? It's saying don't take away time from your familiar task to maybe get overly concerned and panicky about it. Kind of stay on task. So whatever it is that you're working on, continue to work on it. This is not in regard to people who are scientists or, political, in the politics of this issue. This is in regard to regular everyday people. This is a just for fun reading. So the vibes that I pick up, and it could be that I'm a very calm and peaceful person, but the vibes that I'm picking up about should we be panicky or not be panicky, I just keep picking up common sense plays a good, a good amount of, I don't know, common sense is very important in this. Wash your hands, eat healthy. If you know somebody has a cold or a flu, maybe perhaps say hi to them from a distance or something, or you know what I'm saying? Use common sense. I don't know what will be brought up through this issue, but I kind of felt led to do something about, do a video about this issue, because I can feel the panicky sense coming from the news and I kind of don't like it, and I feel like I had to figure something out about it. So I don't know if this video helped you to think a little bit more. If at the very least you at least take some vitamin C and remember to wash your